Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Off the Wall with Cody here on ASTV. Last week, we got the chance to talk to my Edmonton roommate, Mark Kincaid. He came on and talked a little bit about his experience there in Edmonton, as well as some of his involvement here with ASTV. It was a great sit down with Mark. Got to know a little bit more about him, and as well as got to talk about some of his highlights from Edmonton. Bantered a little bit back and forth about how well we were able to get to know each other. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch that, you can find last week's edition of Off the Wall on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page, as well as our website there. Also, last week, talked about some of the new events and technology ASTV is working with here in the future. Recently, we started partnering with Innovatronics as a distributor for their new 12-in-1 multi-sport wireless scoreboard. So if you're in the market for a new scoreboard for your upcoming events, be sure to consider the new 12-in-1 multi-sport wireless scoreboard from Innovatronics Incorporated, and contact us here at ASTV to set you up with your scoreboard. Also, last week, talked a little bit about some of the expansion that we're looking forward to here, and that has started happening here after a strong 2 weeks in Edmonton, as well as some great coverage of our local teams from the Pilot Mound Buffaloes, which we'll get into a little bit later with our upcoming guest today, Gordie Tumilson, the goaltending coach for the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, as well as our coverage of the Pembina Valley Hawks girls. We've got a lot of people who recently started inquiring. As of right now, not able to confirm what is in the pipeline here, but stay tuned to all our social media platforms to stay up to date on our upcoming events here with ASTV. As mentioned last week with Mark, been in talks with possibly expanding to a couple of more CSSHL schools, with IHA now entering the league, as me and Mark alluded to, as well as our manager Glenn has been in talks with possibly trying to broadcast a couple of the Edge Hockey School games. So no official word on either of those two academies, but definitely some interesting stuff here in the works. But as I mentioned before, ASTV is a provider for the new 12-in-1 multi-sport. And up next, we're going to have a little display, a little commercial here about what the 12-in-1 multi-sport scoreboard can do. And after that, we'll come back with our interview with today's guest, Gordie Tumilson. We break down some of the new stuff that's been going on in the off season, as well as some of his past hockey history. Stay tuned here on ASTV after our quick commercial break.
Announcing our latest invention, the first multi-sport wireless scoreboard that uses an LED TV for its display. The only gaming scoreboard that has all the feature of 12-in-1 scoreboard. Wireless transmission from the main controller to the LED displays. Use LED TVs for the display via HDMI receiver module. The main controller uses a Type-C charging port and has a built-in, rechargeable battery that will last for at least 7 hours. Here are the modules available. One main controller with 3 sub-controllers. One main display receiver. 2 auxiliary display receivers. 12 pieces clear acrylic glass front panel covers. 1 air horn. The main controller will also use a small LED panel, allowing you to easily switch to 12 different sports. You can also easily change the team names. The clear acrylic panels are used as screen cover, so you can rest your finger on the screen without worrying about accidentally tapping any buttons during the game. The acrylic panel is important because it becomes tiring for the operators, although the system will operate without the acrylic panel. For as low as $990, dealers will get huge discounts from the retail price. We are looking for dealers and distributors around the world. Available on July 2022.
All right. Today I want to welcome on a man who, for you avid ASTV fans, you'll probably recognize him. But he's making his first appearance on Off the Wall with Cody today. Today we got on Pilot Mound goaltending coach Gordie Tumilson. Gordie, how are you today?
I'm great, Cody. It's been a pretty darn good summer. As we have to get past all the wet and whatnot. A little bit of golf, a little bit of hockey, and lots of sunshine. So it's been great. Thank you.
That's awesome to hear. It's been a pretty busy off season for you, or with the kind of school and everything shut down, has it been a little bit quieter summer for you?
Well, actually, this summer is the busiest I've had all year. The guys at Pilot Mound sort of turned us, the coaches and ourselves, loose to start to do some recruiting, and we've been recruiting right through April, May, June, and into July. Now we're into August, and we're still looking for a few players, not many, but a few for our U18s in particular. So we're doing that, and so staying in touch and talking to different people all the time. So in the marketing, of course, like we're doing today, it goes on 24/7, it seems. So hockey's all part and parcel of every day for me.
Definitely. You had mentioned the recruiting. Is most of that through video submission, or do you guys often hold camps throughout different locales to kind of find kids to come and play for the Buffaloes?
Well, lots of it's, there's word of mouth, there's scouts, there's friends, lots of video. We go to the National Coaches Association website in the States where they build, and every kid, I think, in Canada and the States have got their name and picture and videos in there. So there's a lot of different avenues for recruiting. We all the junior teams, we source our players everywhere. And yeah, we did have an extra camp in Winnipeg in June. We held 2 camps out for each of our teams out in Pilot Mound in April and May. And so, we're all busy trying to find the best kids who are able to afford our program and who want to get better at school and at hockey and at being good people.
Yeah, you would definitely. That's something I've kind of got the feeling from Pilot Mound in my short time, just under a year that I've been with ASTV and kind of covering the Buffaloes. And that's when I kind of got a chance to know you, Gordie. But that's definitely the feeling I get from the Buffaloes is definitely a kind of a family feeling and kind of just a great overall dynamic coming from the Buffaloes, and that's something I've always appreciated from you guys.
Yeah, community is a big deal, and growing up, maturing, understanding, being humble, those kinds of things we teach that, and we recognize some of the kids need that, and some of the kids already have it. So we find leaders, we find followers, and we try and make good citizens out of everybody. And with that, certainly good students are very, very important to us. Maintaining their average when they come from one place to Pilot Mound, that's a minimum standard. that they maintain at least what they've done before in school, and hopefully it improves because they're pretty much sequestered. It's hockey, school, and community, and that just goes in a big circle all day long for 10 months, and so they get a good smattering of all of that, and typically the players come out of there pretty well off.
Well, what's you had mentioned the new U18 male program. What's the excitement level been kind of hovering around that new program that's joining the herd this year?
Well, we've got about, I think, 2/3 of the team filled for sure. We're looking for some more forwards, a couple of D. We've got our goalies that are in, so we're happy there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of excitement, both sort of outside our community, and certainly in the management and on the team level, where we've got these guys will be playing, and the younger kids, the U17s and U15 boys in particular, will be able to watch and find out what kind of level U18 getting closer to junior hockey and maybe some college hockey really looks like, up close and personal. And of course, those kids will get to know the players. So it's a really exciting time for everybody.
Does that really afford you guys as Pilot Mound and the coaching staff to try and keep players within, guys kind of going up through the system, the U15, U17, and now having that U18, kind of developing them right from that U17 and pushing them on to that U18? Is that something you've seen a lot of guys make that jump?
Well, we've seen guys make the jump for sure. Not a lot of guys now, because we just started the U18 team, and we've graduated a few guys, and a few guys are going to play overage U17. I guess there's an allowance for that, depending on the player's skill level, size, and those kinds of things. So we've got that issue, but yeah, we're hoping that, in fact, we've got a whole group of AAA teams, young kids, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, all playing for the Buffaloes. I think there's 5 teams in the under 14 sort of categories working their way down. And so we're hoping that kids will just continue to roll up through our system, all those 5 teams up into U15, 17, and stick around and play for us as long as they can. So, yeah, we're looking to move players forward all the time for sure.
Well, speaking of moving players forward, I had seen through the Pilot Mound Twitter account that recently some of the female graduates have made commitments to extend their hockey careers. Julie Ducharme, Kaylee Keller, Devana Dito, and Trinity Cavalry, just to name a few of the females that I've noticed. I imagine as a coach, seeing your players extend their careers and move on to the next level, there isn't any sweeter feeling as a coach than that.
Yeah, our coaches and the management people are thrilled that all of these people are moving on. And in fact, we've had great success with all of our graduating players for the most part. I mean, some people graduate and don't go where they'd like to go, and either to junior hockey or to another level. But for the girls, every kid that graduates for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years for sure, since the program has started, every player I think has wanted to move up into a college program of D3, D2, D1, or U Sports in Canada has gotten an opportunity. So I'm going to say that 90% of our girls have gone up and on to college.
Well, that's definitely something that for at least on the female side, for the girls that are considering Pilot Mound, I'm sure that's definitely something that's really intriguing for them. The fact that you guys are able to, at least on the female side, push so many girls on to the next level, as well as notice through checking the Twitter, there are a number of, on the male side, gone on to play Junior A in Manitoba, and as well as other places.
Sure. Well, the better players move on and they get noticed. That's the neat part about the program is recognition, right? That's what the program is about. It's to make the players better as players, keep their schooling up so that they're capable of going to school after they finish with us. They can get into a college. They're smart enough. They've got a good, scores and whatnot from their exams so that people will take them, because, colleges won't just take anybody. You have to have a good education coming in. So that's important, and for the on the girls' side and some boys, and then on the male side, we had 6 players up at OCN this past year, and so that one place had 6 of our players. that graduated over the last 2 years. And we know that many, many more are playing in junior hockey in either junior A or junior B. COVID really struck us a little bit so some junior B players, but it's good quality junior B that they're playing. But they've moved up and they're capable of competing, and that's really important, so that our guys can move another step next year and then the year after that, because that's what they want to do. That's their dream, and so that's what we're hoping to help them accomplish.
Well, yeah, that's always kind of the main thing as for amateur level coaches, kind of helping them advance to the next level, because at that level, there is always a next step. And I'm sure, like you mentioned, that's one of the fulfilling parts of being a coach. But when doing some research for this interview, Gordie, I stumbled across an article detailed Gordie Tumilson, Goalie Whisperer by Scott Taylor, and found it to be a great read. Definitely got a chance to know you through our chats there in Pilot Mound, but also got to know a little bit more of your hockey background. Obviously not going to go into the whole article, but definitely a great, kind of testament to how you got your start in coaching, as well as, your kind of coaching style. You had mentioned in that article, not that you don't want to focus on the technical aspect, but you definitely, you like to focus on the mental aspect and see that as such a crucial part, especially for goaltending.
Well, I'm glad first of all, the article's from 2010. And in fact, I think Scott Taylor's sort of rewriting it and upgrading it for another article coming out, because we've done so many different things in the meantime. But you're right. And good on you to catch that. Technical stuff. You got to have the technical. You cannot make it if you don't have the technical. So people forget that when they read that, they go, well, yeah, the technical's not, well, it is. It's really important. You got to have it all. If you don't, but however, what they don't get from the goalie camps and in schools and whatnot, and the mini ice that they practice on, you get a little bit of the mental stuff. But because the kids go back to their teams after they've had these workouts and whatnot on the small ice and do all these other things and know all the moves and whatnot, again, which you all have to have, the follow-up after that is limited to some teams that have goalie coaches, some teams that have experienced goalie coaches, other guys aren't. So, and I have a gazillion, I have a lot of years. So my forte is the emotional, I guess a little bit of the Dr. Phil side of things, I suppose. The mental side, the ups and the downs, those kind of things. And that's really important. And dragging kids through, that a season like we had last year. We really didn't have a great season for all three teams. We had 55 shots per game on each of our three teams. And so that's 2 games in one. So we had lots of work and too many goals against and too many shots against. And taking kids through that really tested and challenged my capabilities, and of course the goalkeepers. They just they were dumbfounded at the start of the year, not having much luck going in. So it did test me and them. We all came through it flying colors. We didn't have any mental breakdowns. Maybe I did, but no one would even recognize that. So we got along good. And we got one guy drafted as a 16-year-old into junior hockey out in Ontario. Kean Hodgins got drafted into New York, into Adirondack in an American junior hockey league. So thrilled for him as a kind of an underage guy making it to junior hockey through all of that. So we're kind of pleased with that, and everybody else is doing their best at what they're doing this year.
Well, that's awesome to hear about Kean there. And it actually brings me on to another point I had when doing some research for this. It actually looks like a little while back, Kean's dad posted a bit of a testament to Pilot Mound, and they definitely went in detail, mentioning you a number of times, Gordie, as being a key contributor to Kean's development and his kind of ability to extend his hockey career.
Yeah, he's a special kid. We knew he was really good when he got here. I mean, what we didn't do is ruin him. That's the first thing you don't want to do as a goalie coach is ruin the kid. Do something dumb and change how we play. So we didn't do any of that. We continue to work. The kids are on the ice every day, so they're working on their technical stuff anyway. They just don't have a goalie coach lording over them the whole time, which I don't think is necessary for these guys, and have been proven right for the most part. I think it's a good thing that we do. But anyway, with Kean, he came to us from Ottawa out of a AAA program that kind of let them down out there. I think they felt let down by their program. They were looking for something different, found us, we found them. They came out. He's a right-handed catching guy. I'm a right-handed catching guy. Everybody else catches with the left side. And so we got off on a really good foot that way. And just because, for goalies, that's kind of a neat thing, right? And so, he bought into the program, got past some humps and bumps at the beginning, as everybody did, as I said before. And he came along, and the parents were particularly happy that they made that decision because they weren't sure. They're giving up their son, as they say in the article, they're giving up their son for 10 months to come to Pilot Mound, Manitoba from Ottawa. And what's it going to be like? Well, it turned out to be really, really good and really, really successful for him. So proof's in the pudding. It worked out. We did a good job together.
Yeah, definitely would be a bit of a culture shock going from the big area of Ottawa to little Pilot Mound that is I don't quite know the population of it, but definitely wouldn't hold a candle to the population of Ottawa.
Well, population of Ottawa is 1 million, I think, or something like that. And nation's capital, Pilot Mound is 700.
So
it's like a community. It's like a little block party area. It's nothing, in comparison. But getting to play with the kids and getting 10 months of good, stewardship and whatnot as adults working with kids, those guys get a benefit. We got a great school there. Pilot Mound Collegiate is wonderful. They look after things. They work really closely with the kids and our coaches, and so it's a really nice tie-in for everybody, and it worked out in Kean's to his advantage this year.
Yeah, that's definitely I can attest to. All the people behind the scenes at Pilot Mound have been they don't get enough credit. They definitely, make the program run, such as Brittany, Ginger, Rod, everybody behind the scenes do a great job. And really, they kind of, like I mentioned, the community feeling, but it really feels like the whole group kind of instills a brotherhood, and they really come together just as kind of I don't know if the community kind of feel kind of trickles down to the team, kind of building that strong bond.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're absolutely right. You've sensed correctly. That's what drew me out there. I mean, I'm not part of the Pilot Mound community. I'm a Winnipegger. I went out there 4 years ago or 5 years ago now with the goalie. Hannah Pagdato, who graduated and now plays for Mount Allison in the U Sports out in Atlantic Canada, in New Brunswick. So she's got a scholarship out there. But anyway, the people, it's all about the people. It's all it is. That's all there is to it. And until you get there, until you sort of sense that, you really don't know that. The Hudgens people were surprised that it was as good as it was for Kean as the other 59 sets of parents were for their kids last year and every other year that I've been there. So it's a great place for growing up and maturing and understanding and community and team. Team is really important. That's just everything, right? So that's how this works. So it's a great place.
And focusing a little bit more on the U18, obviously recently in Pilot Mound having to build some new dorms. How has the construction on that all gone, or is that something that kind of isn't always on your radar there, Gordie?
Well, I'm apprised of it on occasion. I keep my finger on it. I've been watching it from the drone that flies over there every day. I think there's the fellow out there in Pilot Mound who does pictures, and so he every once in a while updates the pictures for us. And the main building with the offices and the big fitness area in the basement and all of the the big kitchen and eating area, lounge area, meeting rooms, etc. They're all coming together nicely now. So the guts of the thing is being put together. The sleeping areas are starting to go up. They've maintained the 2 sleeping areas that we had before, and we're going to have 2 new sections and 2 old sections, and then once the 2 new sections go in, then the 2 more new sections will go in, and we'll have it all done. So it's coming together. I'm not sure it's going to be quite complete when we start the season. I'm going to guess that there'll be some things yet to do, but September and October, of course, are nice months to continue construction. They've got provision for the players for living quarters one way or the other. So we'll manage, and of course the kids all have their own dressing room and all that good stuff. So that sort of takes care of that part of it as well, and that's coming together for the U18s as well.
Well, that's all great information to hear there, Gordie. I want to thank you for coming on today for this interview. Look forward to talking to you more in the future here, as the upcoming season will be getting underway in just a couple of short months. As you mentioned, you guys have started doing some recruiting and looking for the new all 4 teams and looking for players. Mentioned that still looking for a couple of forwards for that U18. So for everybody who's watching out there in ASTV land, looking to play for the U18 Buffaloes, definitely have a great community vibe. And you'd be surprised what all happens there in Pilot Mound. I've definitely fallen in love with the community in my short time there.
Well, yeah, it's great. Well, thank you for having me, and I look forward to doing this again. And we'll be glad to kind of update people as they go along. And please don't hesitate. Anybody out there with a decent hockey player that's still looking to get a great education and a lot of both hockey and school and community, please get in touch with us. Pilot Mound, www.pilotmoundhockeyacademy.com is where you can find us.
And that is Gordie Tumilson here with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. I want to thank you again for coming on, and we'll send to a quick commercial break and come back for more Off the Wall with Cody.
Welcome to Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Huge thank you to all our sponsors who help keep the lights on here at ASTV. As you saw, AETI, Case Financial, Evolve Green, Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, and Toby Hockey, all contributing sponsors here to ASTV, and always looking for more partners. As mentioned, we've been starting to dip our toes into some different endeavors, none that's able to really shed too terribly much light on, but hopefully in the coming weeks be able to note some of these partners coming on to join the ASTV crew. But to the ones that are currently with us, huge thank you. Another huge thank you to Gordie again for coming on this week to talk a little bit about Pilot Mound, as well as what kind of shedding some light on his development process with the goaltenders. Obviously, as I mentioned, looking through an article back from Gordie said 2010, I would really encourage you all to go ahead and read that. Its name is Gordie Tumilson, Goalie Whisperer, as I mentioned, by Scott Taylor. It's a great read. You get to talks a little bit about where Gordie came from, starting his first pro development camp with the Los Angeles team, and then finding himself on the Winnipeg Jets for a number of years as their number 3 goalie, as well as talking about some of his development to leading up to becoming a goaltending coach. Like I mentioned, great read. And shout out to former employee here, Graham Forsyth, for connecting me and Gordie together. Huge thank you to Graham. Always appreciate the help connecting us with some guests. But looking forward here on the network, got a couple of new things joining us starting this week. A little bit later on the weekend, we're going to see the Prince George Kodiaks of this Canadian Junior Football League join the ASTV network on August 6th as they take on the Kamloops Broncos at 7 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. As I mentioned, on August 6th, they're going to be looking to get their first win of the season after suffering a defeat to the Valley Huskers in their season debut. Looks like the score of that one was 5-31. So they're going to be looking to bounce back in their home opener against the Kamloops Broncos. Definitely exciting to get to cover another sport here on ASTV. As mentioned, we were in talks with the National Ball Hockey Junior Championships there that were just held this last weekend in Winnipeg, but unfortunate to technical difficulties, weren't able to get that going, as well as stay tuned for Theo Tutaluk's show on the ice, which can be watched on Tuesdays just before the Off the Wall with Cody show, and then Thursdays at 6 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and talk to Theo as he breaks down some of his guests. I know he has reoccurring guest Wayne Kozer, one of our partners here with Trailblazer Hockey. They often sit down on Wayne's World, which is a neat little a testament to, I believe it was a Mike Myers show or movie back in the day, with Dana Carvey. So a little bit of play on words there for the Wayne's World. And in my experience meeting Wayne, great guy, very insightful, and a great program he's running there at Trailblazer Hockey Advisors. So be sure to tune in to all those shows, as well as other shows we have coming up here on ASTV. Last week mentioned we have Mark Kincaid with Out and About in Sask Sports, as well as he is developing a Indigenous sports show looking to take place in Saskatchewan with a couple of guests he had mentioned being a 3-generation Indigenous group. So I personally looking forward to hearing what Mark has to say when he sits down with them. We're going to send it to another quick commercial break and wrap up the rest of this Off the Wall with Cody here. And we'll be back in just a bit. And welcome back, everybody. Just looking back at a couple of the past interviews that Theo's had, definitely encourage you all to go back on our YouTube or Facebook page or our website, amateursports.tv, under the sports drop-down page, and look for a couple of Theo's past interviews. He does get a chance to sit down with Joshua Ross, founder and owner of the PhD Best of the Best series, which is going to be a tournament that ASTV looks to start helping out with in the future here. Looks like we're just going to be doing the championship round this year, but Theo sits down with him and talks about the series, about the showcase, as well as the throne tourney, and all about this tournament that takes place in Ontario throughout the month of August. Definitely something that is exciting for ASTV to begin partnering with, looking to possibly even take care of all their games looking towards next year, possibly. And personally, I'm excited for all the opportunity that, our solid broadcast in Edmonton, that all the opportunities that our solid broadcast from Edmonton is going to bring us. As I mentioned, we've had people reach out to want to, interact with us. One of those people I'm hopefully going to be getting a chance to talk to in the coming weeks is ex-Stanley Cup winner Chris Versteeg. I'm going to look to have him on in a couple of weeks. So for all you guys watching on ASTV and on Off the Wall with Cody, be sure to tune in the coming weeks as I look to set up that interview with him. But for this Tuesday's edition of Off the Wall with Cody, I want to say thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you again next week. But for now, good night, goodbye, and have a good night.